November 24th. Just finished working with my clients. But just, I rewatched myself talk about the dreams in the morning, because I completely forgot some of the details that I shared, and just sit with it a little bit more. And it's funny that I mentioned my brother and my landlord, and here's why it's funny, because the video that posted today the video that posted today, and these I had already scheduled a few days ago, or like maybe yesterday. I was finishing up some yesterday. The one scheduled today was the last one that I kind of already had pre-scheduled, so I completely forgot that was the one that I talk about my landlord and my brother with the blowout that occurred. There was a blowout, and it shut off the lights, half of the apartment's lights, and I'm talking about them, and I've mentioned that I don't know if I mentioned, actually, my parents were divorced. Separated. They separated when my sister was 18. I was 23, still living at home. Was I living at home? No, I was in and out of homes because I moved out. When did I move out? There was a year. I mean, the separation was just like on and off, almost like it was. There was this anticipatory, like, we know it's gonna happen, we just don't know when, almost. And then there was just challenges around that within the family dynamics, and I'm being more candid about it right now, just because, one, I know I'm not the only one who's experienced, you know, your parents separating or divorcing, and for kids, that can be, you know, depending on what age it occurs and depending on how parents kind of interact with one another after the fact, right? It can really take a toll. It really impact the kids in a way where without wanting it to, it's by default almost, because the world revolves around these kids, right? Depending on the age range, as a kid, there's a sense of responsibility that you take, like, because I create happiness for my parents, right? When they tell me, oh, good job, good boy, good girl. There's this element of, like, I create their happiness. And so if my parents split up and I'm the source of their happiness, then I did something wrong to create that split. You know, so it's not intentional, but that's kind of sometimes what happens. And then, you know, that's just in a simple format for one age group, right? It varies depending on the other ages. And for us, you know, the impact it had on me was different than the impact that it had on my sister, who's 5 years younger, and my brother, who's a year younger than me, and the only boy in our family, right? And so just by default, the way in our situation it occurred, because of the tension that was occurring, you know, there was the split, and there was tension for a whole year after that. And then it got to the point where my brother kind of took over some of the finances or responsibilities, if you will. I don't know if I was living at home at that time. There was a year where I was not living at home. 23, must have been 24. I don't even remember what year I got married. I want to say I got married at 25. 25? I think I got married at 25. And the whole year before was the first year that I lived with them, with the family again, because the year before that I had moved out. And then the year before that, I don't know where we were. Like, I moved around so much, I don't remember. But anyways, the point of it is that my brother took on this caregiving role. And, he took on this caregiving role, being the only boy, culturally, right? There's this cultural dynamic, and so there was this alignment between him and my mom, as kind of taking on this. And I was trying, at that point in time, I was trying to separate myself. I was trying to, that's why I had moved away. That's why I got married. Actually, to be quite honest, one of the reasons that triggered that marriage was to continue to find a sense of safety and stability. And because that family unit was no longer it for me, I had to like secure it in other ways. And you know, my ex was there for me throughout this whole process, as much as there was this on and off with us, because there was intuitively this knowing of like, he wants something different than I can give him. He was still there. And so he was the one stable, unstable stability, if you will. And I loved him. I did love him. I do love him. And so it just kind of, it nudged me in that way, out of fear, really, and insecurity within myself. But there was still this element of my mom and my brother being authority. My mom and my brother being authority. And in the video that got posted today, I'm speaking to this, my landlord having this dad energy that I appreciate. So it's interesting that I didn't realize it until I rewatched the video where I'm talking about that dream, where I'm like, oh, that's interesting that they're there somewhere. Like I could feel their presence there. And then as I was listening to myself, my mom, where she was at, it was like, there was almost this element of like, she was the director. There was this element of her being the director. So there's the need for me to, like, when I talk about, I had to wait for her permission. To, and then when I was hearing myself talk, I forgot, I guess, with just the activities of the day, that we were talking without speaking. So it was like mind reading almost, like we were just kind of communicating without actually speaking with one another. But the room that I went into to tell my mom about this boy, it was like the director's office almost, but it was her, and I think my brother and the landlord must have been in the same room, I think. So there's this element of authority, getting permission, and not being able to act until they gave me permission to act. And then I was able to go on campus to go to the restroom because I needed to go to the restroom before I go find this boy. The connection I'm thinking to this boy who seemed familiar but at the same time didn't. My mom, I don't know if I shared this. I don't think I did. A couple days ago, my mom, not a couple days ago, this past week, my mom actually reached out to me and asked me if I could do another presentation on mental health, specifically on suicide at her church. And I was like, oh, I'm picking up on work right now. I work on Saturdays. And so it's a little challenging for me right now. And I said, I'm not planning on going home until the end of December. And then after that, I really don't know, because I think it's going to get it's going to pick up. So then she's like, I know it's picking up for you, but we really need support. Because I guess one of the sons, one of the boys or young men, tried to commit suicide. So I was like, okay. And then she mentioned something that was really helpful too. Was they're willing to pay for gas, for me to go. I was like, oh, that would be great help. And so they're just needing support on how to address it. So I was like, yeah, definitely. And I was resistant because of church and just this whole spirituality element, right? Of like, okay, Mom, but we gotta know, right? Like, I'm not gonna hide who I am, right? There's this element of, I'm not hiding who I am anymore. Like, this is it. This is who I am. This is the service that I'm providing. And And then just being mindful too at the same time of like, okay, what am I going to share? I don't want to trample on their faith either, and just, you know, I think kind of like how I did it last time, where I did my best to stay neutral and just provided the information that I could. So I wonder if that boy is connection to this whole process, right? Of what I need to put together, to help. I don't know. I was thinking about, I also forgot about that part where I'm in this elegant affair or elegant party, and they're assessing the boys. So it's interesting because, so I've been doing a little bit of research on the school district out here and what services they have in place, and I have some ideas. For what they have available. I don't know. I know I'll get more guidance through this process, and I guess I'll wait to see. I have an idea of what I want to put together. I guess yeah. I need to run it by my cousin. I think I think I'll hopefully I'll get good feedback as I put something together and market it, really. Yeah, we'll see. So anyways, I just wanted to speak to those details that I watched again. And I didn't go out to the bookstore because I was actually looking for the bookstores online to see if they had the book. The books that I'm looking for, they don't. So I might have to go the mail route of ordering the books online. But yeah, that was all. Just wanted to share that awareness of more of those details in the dream, and I don't know if there's a connection to that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and I guess I'll keep you guys posted. All right. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So take care.